IPsec stands for IP security, right? So that's what that means. So we did talk about this last time. Why is it transparent? Because the encryption is done at the transport. If you do it at the transport layer, it's not transparent because right above it you have application layer, remember? So it cannot be. So it has to be done at the which layer? Internet layer, right? So that's how it's transparent.
Isn't network and internet layer the same thing?
What? Network layer and the internet layer, they are the same thing. Okay. Transport layer is above those. Okay? Yeah. Yeah. So IPsec is transparent because it operates at the internet layer or network layer. Okay? So it's internet layer basically. That's where it's operating. In terms of cost, probably not too much, but when you try to implement this, it's still quite expensive. And also to set it up, to ensure everything's working properly, it's still pretty expensive. It's not that cheap to implement this because, for example, your routers, they have to be supporting this, okay? You have to have the gateways with the applications, the right kind of applications that support IPsec. Okay, so it's pretty expensive. It goes very deep into your network, and all your network devices actually have to support that. Okay, so that's why it's not that inexpensive. Okay. So here is a comparison between SSL TLS and IPsec. Okay, so the biggest thing here is this part. I would say what you have to pay attention to is transparency part. Right? So let me see. Layer of operation at the transport layer, right? You see that? And then this one is at the internet layer. Okay, so this is not transparent, this is transparent because of that. Okay, yes? And then, let me see, I guess the rest of it will be talking about this later on, so that's good. So all you really have to pay attention to at the moment is these two parts, I guess, the layer of operation right there. Okay? Okay, so the VPN, remember we talked about VPN? It had 3 different unique topologies. Do you guys remember 3 different unique topologies VPN was using? What were they? I was even drawing them on the board, right? What were those? Host to host, right? Site to site. And then, what was the other one? Remote access, right? So now the question is, right? IPsec, is it also a type of VPN, yes or no? Why are we talking about IPsec, right? Because it is a type of VPN, right? So it must be using the same topologies because it is a VPN, okay? So that's why one of the modes is called host to host, right? Host to host meaning you're connecting the 2 hosts directly in this type of VPN topology. Okay, you're connecting them directly in this case, right? So it's also providing, just like what we talked about in the VPN discussion, right, in the previous class, it provides this end-to-end protection, right? From the beginning to the end, everything's encrypted, right? Remember? So that's why it's more expensive or inexpensive? Expensive. Expensive, yes. So remember this, right? So it's called the transport mode, by the way. So remember the name because it has a special name now. That host-to-host topology in IPsec, it's called transport mode. Transport mode. Okay, so remember that, transport mode. And then if you have a transport mode, right, in your IPsec implementation, is it going to be friendly to the firewall or unfriendly? That's another big question to ask. Is it going to be friendly or unfriendly to your firewalls?
Unfriendly.
Why?
I don't know, but I know I read it.
Okay, unfriendly. Yeah, the answer is unfriendly, yes. But why? That's something you have to understand, right? So let's see. Austin, why is it unfriendly to firewalls?
I don't really know exactly why either. My guess is that firewalls want to know header information and figure out where packets are going, and IPsec obscures that information.
Yeah, so very, very good. So the whole point of IPsec was encrypting everything, right? Including the packet information, right? So I think Austin was pretty close, yes. So it's unfriendly to the firewalls because, I mean, if the firewall wants to inspect the packets, you have to have clear text, right? But then everything is encrypted in between the two hosts. So even if the firewall intercepts it, there's no way it can inspect the packets, right? So that's why it's unfriendly to the firewalls, right? So that's why, okay? Yes. Next. So next is tunnel mode, okay? Tunnel mode, bless you. What's going on today? You got a cold? Okay. So next one is site to site, right? Site to site. What was site to site? Remember? Let me see. Yes.
The
Richard, yes.
line between two gateways was encrypted, but not from gateway to the host.
Right, exactly. So same applies to IPsec, right? So what happens is in this mode, the tunnel mode, okay, right? So from, let's say this is your host, right? So that's your host, host B, right? And that's your gateway. Is that right? I guess host C, host D. That's your gateway. Gateway 1, gateway 2, right? So these are all connected to the gateway, right? That's your network, inside of your network. That's network 1, right? And then that's also connected to the gateway, and this is network 2, right? And in this architecture, the communication between the two hosts, not the hosts, but the gateway, that part is only encrypted, right? So that was the whole point of site to site. Is it cheaper doing it this way? Yes or no? Right. Why? Because you're not really installing anything in terms of the software on the hosts. Okay? But is it more secure or not? The answer is no. Why? Chris?
Because inside the network, you can still have like insider threats.
Right. So
There's no threat.
nothing's encrypted here, right? Yeah. Good. Yeah.